Howdy, my name is Nonat, and if you're like me, you don't use pre-written adventures terribly often. Whether that's because you don't like the anxiety of trying to keep everything pre-written in a row out of fear of ruining something 20 sessions down the line, or you just prefer to make it up yourself. I myself, like I just said, don't use these adventures too terribly often, but I wanted to make a video today talking about them in a slightly different light. You see, just because I don't tend to run pre-written adventures doesn't mean I don't find them useful, and I think you could actually find a lot of uses for pre-written content even if you're running your own homebrew campaign. This is because those pre-written adventures are perfect for taking some metaphorical scissors and just cutting out an encounter or a dungeon or an NPC and adding it to your game. After all, why completely write a dungeon yourself when there's one that perfectly fits the theme of your campaign and you barely have to change anything? That could save you hours of your time while not sacrificing on the quality or integrity of your game. So that, for me, is where the pre-written adventures find their most use. I've been playing Pathfinder 2e for about 3 years now, and I'll tell you, I've only run maybe 3 pre-written adventures, some shorter than others, but I've used NPCs and other adventure pieces from these more times than I can count. The most vivid I can recall is when I took the one-shot Sundered Waves and just stuck that dungeon into my world. You know, my players, needed a boat. They were in a pirate port town, they were about level 5, and they needed a boat to cross the ocean. Well, they got in good graces with a local pirate captain, and so he said, here's a treasure map, follow it to get that thing that you need. I'm too lazy, I don't have time or the resources. If you want to follow this treasure map, it's yours. They followed the map, it led them to this dungeon in the side of a cliff. And they went through, they solved the dungeon, and rather than doing the normal reward at the end of the dungeon, the reward was a fully functioning ship, which they were able to use and take out. And sadly, that campaign went on hiatus about a month later, and we haven't played it since, and I'm sad. And this goes so far beyond just stealing a dungeon. Every single page of these campaigns has something worth stealing for your adventure. Whether it's just a map, just an encounter, or just a specific NPC, there's a lot to take here. So I'm going to walk you through my usual process of analyzing and stealing from official content to use it for my own nefarious purposes. Also, on top of just making your game better, it's a great way to still support Paizo for making such an awesome system, even if you don't plan to run the adventures as written. So be sure to go to Paizo.com. This is not sponsored or anything. It's no secret that I love Paizo as a company and I want to see them succeed. And hopefully if I inspire you to steal some ideas from pre-written content, maybe you'll pick a few of them up. So my first step for stealing content, because that's what I'm just going to be calling this, is stealing, is checking if there are any adventures that line up with the theme of my campaign, or just where my campaign is currently at. Like I said, my players were in a pirate port town. They weren't pirates, the main theme wasn't pirates, but they happened to be in a pirate locale, and I saw the Sundered Waves one-shot was very pirate themed. It really worked out. Likewise, if your campaign is anywhere sort of classic horror related, you could casually take something from something like Malevolence. There's plenty of ghosts in here, there's plenty of haunts in here, there's plenty of supernatural stuff going on in the Malevolence adventure, and if you're anywhere near the undead, there's something you can steal here. Likewise, if you're going into a dungeon of any kind, you could absolutely take a look through Abomination Vaults just for ideas of what to take. Abomination Vaults is an amazing resource for stealing because this is almost a book of encounters. This is one mega dungeon adventure, so every room of the dungeon is in these books. So you don't even need to steal the entire dungeon, you could just open a page to a certain room and say, ooh, I like the look of that creature and the room they're fighting them in. So you can take the appropriate room, use the creatures within it, and just plug that into your campaign somewhere it works. They don't even need to be in a dungeon. Maybe they're exploring some overworld ruins and they find a room that looks just like this room with some ghouls in it. Once again, you don't need to do any other work setting up the encounter. You've got the stat blocks, you've got the map, you've got the description, you're off to the races. Let's say your players are in a new town and you need a magic shop, but you remember, oh hey, I have Abomination Vaults on my bookshelf. Wasn't there like a major magic shop in that campaign? Yes, and it comes with the entire owner as an NPC, so you can just absolutely reference that one page and you've got your magic item shop. You know what she sells, you know what she does. You might need to rewrite a few things around the plot, but otherwise you've got an entire stat sheet, you've got an entire NPC right there. I really can't recommend stealing content enough to bump up the quality of your campaign as well as saving you time. That's really a big part of it. A lot of people love using pre-written adventures because it saves them the time of writing something brand new, but a lot of people also want to write something brand new because it helps them sort of feel proud about this world they've created. I personally love that middle ground where you spend time on the parts of the world that are important to you, the macro scale that you want to build, and you can fill in the gaps with pre-written content. I don't think that ruins the artistic integrity of world design whatsoever, especially if you re-flavor it to fit your needs. And speaking of filling in the gaps and fitting your needs, let me tell you about AAW Games and their mini dungeon tome Kickstarter. This is super relevant to the video, so don't click away just because this is a sponsored segment. This Kickstarter is amazing. First off, it's already 20 times its funding goal of a base goal of $2,000. They're up to $41,000 at the time of recording. Now, what exactly is the mini dungeon tome? This is a tome full of 110 mini dungeon encounters. Every single one is only 2 pages. It's going to give you a small map. It's going to give you a couple of encounters, some NPCs, some roleplay scenarios. This book completely encapsulates everything I've just told you about with way more options. When looking through something like a full pre-written adventure path, there's a lot you're going to need to sift through. You know, a lot of it is very specific to the overarching plot of that adventure. However, with something like the mini dungeon tome, every time you flip the page, it's something new you can add to your campaign. And that's exactly what these are designed for. This book is not designed to be played cover to cover like an adventure. Rather, you are supposed to take these 2-page dungeons and put them in your adventure. Not all of them are even underground. Just take these and put them wherever you need them. You need an above ground ruin, I almost guarantee there's one in there. There's something for everyone here, and I can see this absolutely becoming a must-have third-party book for Pathfinder players. Something I love that AAW's done on their Kickstarter page is giving us this little table which shows what percentage of the book is written for which levels, and it's clear they've done their research on the game. Most players don't get past level 10 and most campaigns end around there, so it makes sense that about 70 to 80% of the book is level 11 and lower, but that means there's still about 20% to experiment with higher level content. I'm going to throw up some example adventures on screen while I tell you can back this Kickstarter right now by clicking my link in the description, and you can get the PDF for as little as $29. $29 for 110 individual 2-page adventures that you can steal. As someone who has stolen content from existing adventures for the better part of 10 years of role-playing, I love that AAW has made a product that is made to be stolen from. They've given you 110 things to steal, they've put them on a platform and said, hands up, take them, they're yours. This campaign only has about a week and a half left, so if you want to make sure you get your PDF, click the link in the description, support it today. So yeah, next time you're designing your campaign and you're looking to speed along the design process or even just get past some writer's block, check out your bookshelf and look at a few of your pre-written adventures. They don't even need to be from the same system if you're confident in your ability to convert or create new stat blocks for the appropriate creatures. There's so much around you can steal, and trust me, being a robber makes your life so much easier. Am I going to jail for that? Probably. Anyway, I gotta run. You know what? Just leave a like and a comment. I'll be back in a few weeks, okay? Bye!